Hey, good day. Another episode of Cruising with Phil. My name's Phil the Cruise. Today I have a really special guest, Robert Zaichkowski. Got the name right. And he's here for Toronto for Life, right?
No, sorry. So
I think it's
I'm a volunteer for Young for All.
Young for All. I want to say Toronto for Life. Sorry. Young for All. So Robert, just tell people about yourself, who you are, and what started this whole thing.
Yes, so I'm Robert Zaichkowski. I'm a long-time road safety advocate. Been doing it for about 10 years now. So I first helped out Cycle Toronto, including being a former board member. I helped co-found the Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition in 2020. And since I moved to South Rosedale this past June, I started getting more involved with the Young campaign, now known as Young for All. And the main goal of Young for All is to build a broad base of support to make the Midtown Young Complete Street pilot from Bloor to Davisville permanent when it comes up to IEC in January 2023.
Okay. So Bloor to Diesel. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. So can you tell people what it was like? What it was like back then, and now that you got new bike paths, the difference between back that one there, like for the people wise for biking and all.
Yeah, so about 6 years ago, when the Bloor pilot was approved from Chateau Avenue, I thought, okay, I'll try to bike along the whole stretch of Yonge and Toronto from Queens Quay to Steeles. And yeah, there have been some parts that have been pretty scary experience with like all the fast moving cars.
Yeah.
So I think the worst part of it is going under the 401 because you have like six lanes of traffic spots and the highway on and off ramps. But even within the pilot area, it's wasn't pleasant before the bike lanes went in. And then once they were installed in summer 2021, like even before I moved to South Rosedale, my partner and I would sometimes bike up Yonge Street to the Rosedale Ravine with our miniature poodle Mozzie. And just having the barriers has made the whole experience a lot safer for us.
That's great. So so when did it start? It started in 2021, right? The project.
Yeah, I believe it was installed in June.
June. And where did it start from? From going down Young, from where? From going from Bloor, or was it Bloor going up?
I think the installation started at the north end around Davisville and then worked its way down Bloor.
Okay, so what's the completion you want to make? How far do you want to go?
Yeah, so one short-term ask that a lot of us road safety advocates want is to have the bike lanes extended north to Eglinton Avenue. Yeah, for those who are not aware, there's another consultation process called Eglinton Today that seeks to do a quick build of bike lanes on Eglinton from, I think, Kiel to Mount Pleasant for phase 1, and then Mount Pleasant to Brentcliffe for phase 2, so that when the crossout LRT is done, you'll basically have a continuous bikeway from the Mississauga border all the way to Kennedy Station.
Amazing, yeah. Just like I said, but then the LRT, that'll make more sense. Bike lanes from there. Once it's open, finally, you can just have bike stations there. I don't think you're gonna put any bike lockers or whatever, and you can just take your bike from the subway and come right down. Avoid all that traffic. It makes more sense, right? Just common sense sometimes makes a difference getting done, right? That's the funny thing,
Yeah, build it, they'll come. That's right. And
Yeah,
I believe, yeah, and I believe Bike Share is supposed to add new stations along Eglinton Avenue as part of a recently announced expansion plan. They'll see 10,000 bikes, 1,000 stations, and I think 2,000 of those bikes are supposed to be electric assist.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and hopefully by 2025, Bike Share will be in all 25 wards.
You get frustrated going like, I was in the military. I've been all over the world. I've told my story. I biked in Italy, Rome. Like over there, it's a culture, right? So I get people over there writing to me like, "What's the big deal in Toronto? Why are you people fighting? Why the whole bike wars? Like the whole bike wars is so silly. Honestly, they create these. Now, being honest, the stupid scenarios between bikers and traffic and cars. It's unnecessary. It shouldn't be like that. People are stuck in the ways of the the gas and all that. I know people like that, some council, but like, ask a question: should we have been ahead of bikes years ago, like say 20 years ago?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the other North American states have struggled building bike lanes as well. And
Yeah,
there's only one municipality that was really ahead of the curve, that being Montreal.
yeah. I lived there for
Like,
2 years. I loved it.
okay, yeah, because I think the rest of North America, they were influenced by John Forster and the vehicular cycling approach.
Yeah,
And I think Forster, he was very opposed to having protected bike lanes as they do in Montreal and parts of Europe. But I guess over the past 10 or 12 years, North American cities are finally putting in protected bike lanes. Yeah, Toronto is probably a lot slower than we would have liked, but I feel that as more residents are biking and demanding more bike lanes, we're hoping that this creates a virtuous cycle. And I think 2 years ago, we'd installed more protected bike lanes than in any previous year.
that's great. I think the like the culture. Do you think we should get more culture, more get the educating out there, like about biking? But I've asked when I do my canvassing about bike safety. Do you anybody know bike signs? Like a lot of people they don't just kind of not naive, but they're not aware of the whole protocol of bike safety situations, signs, signals. I think we get more educated out there, like for everybody. Like it just shows that it's safety wise, it's a lot healthier, and it's a lot less expensive, especially with the gas and all, right? But it's slowly getting. I think like like for years, like you just told all some of your history. I know I was reading some more about you. You actually you kind of missed out so much. You're being modest. You did quite a bit for the biking people. I know. You've been an advocate for like a long time. From what I remember, I've seen your name even before I got elected. I've seen your name mentioned up many times. So you're being modest. Just to let people know that you're one of those bike enthusiasts, and you're smart, and you educate people. That's the thing. You educate people. This keen sense of humility, which I love about you. But I think I just got a question. How come there's no bike committee in the city hall? It's just a coalition, no? I mean, you got all these bike or groups, right? I've seen like I think Toronto's got most bike groups out of all of North America, or sorry, Canada. But there's no committee in City Hall. I mean, we got advocates.
Okay, so you're asking about a cycling advisory committee. I know
Uh,
Toronto used to have one,
yeah,
but I believe under Rob Ford in 2010, 2011, he scrapped it, a bunch
yeah.
of other committees.
I mean, it's part of you're part of the development. You're part of making things happen. More bikes. It should be something in the city hall. I mean, what better way to get experience? Like talking about putting accessible things around. Talk about people that actually use accessibility. Like you're a biker. Surveys are great, but talk to the biker. Talk to the bikers themselves. They know where like you said, all the safety features are, all the hazardous areas of biking. Like a whole the bike groups, like a coalition of bikers in City Hall. Like that should be needed. Get your input there. I know you're talking about the have advice. Like there's only I think I only know three councilors that are bikers. From Bradford, Kelby, and Ainsley. I know they're avid bikers. I've seen them around, but there might be more. I'm not aware of it, but they're in there. Getting their word out.
Yeah, I know Diane Saxon, my ward, she bikes to work.
Your bike? Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, great,
Mhm.
great.
Yes.
So, you ever thought of forming your own committee in City Hall? Like just getting it out there yourself? I know I'm sorry, what do you do for a living? I know you're busy all the time too.
Yeah, I'm an accountant for my day job.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this is all like you're on your own time, just so what got you into the biking, being involved with these groups and all, like yourself personally, or is there some more story behind it?
Yeah, so I'd always been interested in politics and cycling in their own respective categories. But since I was growing up in Moncton, New Brunswick, but I never thought about
You're from New
putting this.
Brunswick? An East
Yeah,
Coaster.
that's right.
But-
Yeah, but unfortunately, I hadn't put the two and two together until shortly after I moved to Toronto proper, and I heard about this organization called Cycle Toronto. I thought, hey, that's something I should be involved with.
And then you got involved like that, just like that, right? Wow.
Yeah, and then like get to know the cycling community over the years, and it really gets you hooked.
Yeah, it does. And you see, you got all experience. You've gone all over the city. You know where all. That's what I mean. People like you got to get in the city hall, giving your input, personal experiences. Like they like gave examples. Somebody put one of those what do you call one of the bike shares in down by Wellesley. One of the voters would he called me up. They put this bike stand there for the rental bikes, and they put it in such a way that it's not accessible for people with wheelchairs and walkers. So they had to go and redo it because they didn't consult with the public what's accessible, what's not. That's a major area on Wellesley and I think Young area. The guy told me about it. But just something like that, just like they get the input of people that live there and just putting it there, gonna have repercussions, right? Like the stands in the libraries, they have those electric stands, those like those meters over. So they put those in years ago. I remember this Maryville over here, and they put them in, but they didn't consult people that actually have different kinds of wheelchairs. And like one lady, she has actually got a bed, and she comes she's a regular customer, but they didn't take consideration the length of the wheelchair bed, I call it. So they had to go back and spend millions redoing the whole thing. But now they got it done. But they should have consulted with. I asked the people in charge. They didn't consult. They just amplified and just did surveys, but they didn't consult people that actually use the wheelchairs and the scooters, like different sizes. And they're all one size, like the bikers too. I thought in my platform, I thought of some different ideas. What do you think of has Toronto ever had like an international bike festival, like for a whole week or whatever, a weekend? I know we have
I
bike
don't
fairs at down like at Skydome. I've seen that. I've been to those like bike events or whatever, but like a whole bike thing. Like I know Europe's have that. They have them all over the place.
Yeah, International Biking Festival. Not really. I know that they had the Toronto bicycle shows, but that's more like an industry initiative, like showing like all the bikes that for sale. That, but doesn't really focus on advocacy or building a cycling culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the culture.
And
That's a good culture, like you said. Building that culture. We need that. I think we need to get more people, more educated people, like this project like yours. So people are gonna ask you, what's your passion for doing this project? Why you, like of all people, why are you doing this? You told me your story, but there must be more. Must be something more deep inside that tells you to do this. Like you want to get. Are you doing it for the bikers, for everybody, or is it just you're like a nice guy. You like helping people. That's your thing. That's what I see about you. You like spread that heart in you and spread it out to other people and getting it done, right? Is there any setbacks right now holding the project back? Like what are the what's stopping from being completed? That's the thing. What?
Oh, yeah. So I know that the city has released some new data while I was away, and it's still showing considerable increases in pedestrian and cycling volumes. I think pedestrian volumes went up 142%, and
Yeah,
cycling volumes went up 160%.
That's great.
But
Wow.
I know there's some opposition from a couple of resident associations, the most notable of which is the Summerhill Residents Association.
Okay, I read about that, but the business owner, it's preventing their business or whatever. Something like that.
Yeah, there has been some business opposition as well, but from what I understand, it's more certain resident groups. The business opposition was more focused with the Young Tomorrow initiative from College to Queen, especially Cadillac Fairview.
Yep. And the area, what's the reason the Summerhill? Why? What's the reason for not wanting the extension?
Yeah, when I was reading a website, which I think is affiliated with them, they used the tagline, "Be rational TO," which is complete hogwash.
Right.
Yeah, like they claim that like adding bike lanes like increases emissions from idling, or you have this issue of landlocked streets. But hello, didn't the issue of landlocked streets exist before the bike lanes were put in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Plus, everything's going electric. But there's like, I mean, if cars are supposed to be electric by 2030, that's what they say. It'll be all electric. So what's the big thing about the emissions? That's
yeah,
gone.
and then there's another issue. Like some will try to focus on the increasing commuter times, which going northbound, I think it was only 78 seconds. And what they're not realizing is that the bulk of these delays is triggered by the construction of the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. Had nothing to do with the bike lane.
I know they try to. I'd seen it before another project. They try to associate traffic woes with active TO. That got canceled there last year, right?
Don't get me started.
Oh, don't get me started. Did you Did you see my video I did about Mark Schweier? Is that his name? Guy, the Blue Jays guy?
Mark Shapiro.
No,
No, I
Shapiro,
didn't
whatever.
see that, but
Yeah,
you can send me the
I
link.
did a nasty video about him. I said, buddy, I said, well, I said you can compromise. You want traffic, right? People and they want bikes. There's lots of room to do it, right? On both sides to a certain extent, whatever. But that's just a pure example of, see, it's the thing of culture. They're not used to it. Like over in Europe, they're not used to this. A lot of families, like, can't afford going on vacations. This is their weekend, especially mothers and single fathers. This is their weekend spent with their kids on active TO, like we saw. It was a success, right? They can't base stats on just a one-time event, like the one time, it's just first time they put it in there. It has to go through a period, right? So as an active TO, they should have brought that, not just active TO, but others that they can bring back. And it doesn't have to all be downtown. Like I live around here, Eglinton, Victoria Park area. I wish there was a bike lane, honestly. Like there's one in Eglinton, they're building the LRT, but say Lawrence. I live there. Lawrence, it's like a chaos. I wouldn't even bike there, honestly, during rush hour. It goes into 2 lanes eventually after the DVP, but I don't know if you know the area, but oh my gosh, I would go actually on Eglinton. It's safer on the LRT area than Lawrence. But that's just one example, one road that I was talking to Sarah about on our interview about the like the culture and more safety, like Dufferin and Bathurst, like that, those harsh areas. Like even Keel, Lawrence, and Jane, I've been around there biking there. Literally, you gotta like you really have to like cameras around you when you're biking, seriously. But I say you gotta educate people about it. It's not a case of just being ignorant, just they're not aware of the culture. Like in Montreal, like I don't know if you agree with this, but like our bike maps, we have the thing missing on our bike maps is bike shops, like restaurants or bike retail. Like we miss that. When I do biking, people ask me when I'm biking down Lakeshore, they go, "Where's the nearest bike shop?" And I gotta look at my apps, you know.
I got to double check the latest Toronto cycling map for you on that one.
Yeah, I think they don't have any bike. They don't have. They have the instructions, but I don't think they have like a list of bike shops in the area, like in Parliament area. I think yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't have that. I might be wrong about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they may have had it in the past was, but I could be mistaken.
Okay.
But I believe that in some parts that say like Scarborough, there's not that many bike shops at all. And it's why certain groups like Scarborough Cycles have started up to help build cycling culture east of Victoria Park with their community bike hubs.
Right. I mean, that's me. You just said about the Scarborough. Like that's another coalition of all these bike groups. I've seen so many, and I've seen all their websites. So you know what? Is there what's missing? Get them all together and put them in City Hall, and then get get more implementation there. I got nothing against the incumbents, but a lot of them are all gas guzzlers. They love gas. They like to drive to them. They prefer gas. That's their culture of the past, right? Like saying, if you ever look ahead, like say 20 years, say you and your partner, 20 years later, then you have friends have kids. They'll be looking back 20 years. Oh yeah, Robert started this whole thing on the bike on Yonge Street. They'll be saying, yeah. And they'll say, wow, did you used to fight for bike paths? Wow, I didn't know that. Something like looking ahead. Like what you're doing right now, and all you guys, everybody's working with, the media displays this animosity, which I really don't agree with. It's not necessary to have this fighting between cars and bikes. But what they should show is the after effects of putting bike lanes in for walking also as well. They like 20 years later, this will make. I've seen Montreal. I did Montreal back in the 80s. And I've seen the difference between now and then. I've seen the culture change. It's just amazing, And they're so safety conscious. It's not like over here. And they look at us and they kind of laughing at like we did this. We were like this 30 years ago. We had problems with cars, but now it's gone. We need to get in that. I think the more positive media coverage. I mean, we get a few hecklers, and you've seen them like just people are just adamant drivers, and they just can't stand bikers. I'm a biker. I've been in many incidents like they're just yelling at. They just have animosity that they had a bad experience, so they hate every biker. It's not true. You get some bad bikers, and like they'll obey the signs. It happens, but the majority of the bikers, people using the cross lines and all, they're all law abiding, and they just want to have a good time. Biking should be a good time, not a hassle, right?
Yeah, people just want to get around safe. And yeah, it was unfortunate that relatively recently, a 20-year-old Karthik Saini got killed by Yonge and St. Clair.
Yeah.
Like, it just underscores the need for safer streets across the board. And I think what people need to realize is that yeah, I'll quote former Ajax Mayor Steve Parrish on this. Well, like he was a cyclist that helped build out Ajax's great multi-use trail network and bike lane network there. He said that this is not a war on the car. It's about providing options so people who want to walk, bike, or take transit, they feel safe to choose those options. And that way helps free space for those who legitimately need their cars.
Yeah, that's exactly, I love that. That's what he quoted that. That's good. See, that's a bike enthusiast. You need more of that in City Hall. Hey, I remember, I think I met you on tweet back in the election. I was teasing you back and forth on tweet about you should run for council. Was that you, right?
Oh, well, you're talking about Ward 2 at Tokyo Center, which is
Yeah.
way too far.
Yeah, I know, but it's really funny. But it's funny how things happen. But you know, Jennifer A, she came on,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And she's actually promoting her Etobicoke Voice, her article she's done. And that's how
I
I met her.
read that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, she's gonna do an interview next in the New Year. She's agreed to do the interview, and we're gonna
Oh, that's
promote her.
awesome.
Yeah, but you see, this is because of you. See how you see what you got good. It's funny. I love chain effect. I love like what happens after the effects. How you affect people. See, you affected me. Communicate. She communicated because she came in between. She says she got mad. She says, "Leave him alone, you." You know, she's taking care of her ward, and she's a volunteer. She's a mother, and that's how we started talking back and forth. And then the other day, she said she's doing this paper, and I got into. I said, "Yep, let's do an interview." So she said, "New, we'll do an interview." I said, "It's funny how we met through Robert." You.
That's
funny.
fine, but I want to make it clear, like these initiatives pushing for bikeways, that it's really a team effort, and
It is,
there's
yeah.
been a lot of advocates that have been doing it like for years or even decades before I have.
You want to
In
mention any
fact,
names? You want to say that? Say
well,
any names?
if there's one original bike advocate in Toronto, unfortunately he died last year. It was Alan Wayne Scott.
Yes.
He had pushed for this food as a fuel on the tax returns. He was pushing bike master rights through Hoof and Cycle, and had been constantly calling for justice for Darcy Allen Shepherd, who was killed in 2009 by then Attorney General Michael Bryant.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's that politician guy, right? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cocky guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then let's see, like Albert Cole, he founded Bells of Bloor at Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition. He's still doing that, especially with Bloor now. We're focused on getting the Bloor bike lanes extended from Runnymede to the Mississauga border, as
Oh,
well
nice.
as showing solidarity for Mississauga residents who are pushing for bike lanes on their part of Bloor. In fact, they
Wow.
had a consultation within the past week or two.
Is there like I know the names you mentioned, I know the names of people don't know the names that you mentioned. Is there anyone on the bike website that has their names and what they're doing right now and what they've done in the past? Like just their like a kudos for them, you know? Like some of the names you mentioned, the people never heard of them. I go, I know, but I've lived here all my life. But I said like they can go on your say one of the bike websites, say so and so did this, now doing this, and then the process. If you want to volunteer, you want to help out. Do they have anything on any of the websites whatsoever?
Yeah, like listing specific people. Yeah, not that I recall. But yeah, I know for the Yonge4All, Robert Richardson is the main communications person for that group. And there's another bike blogger, John Nogami. He writes biking in a big city. Within hours of a cycling event, you could guarantee him to have a blog post put up if he was there.
Oh, it's so cool. I had an
Yeah.
idea like all the names after we're done. If you're interested, can you send me all their names and I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna look up their webs. I'm gonna tweet it and I'm gonna put it out there on the Facebook and just
Mhm.
let people. I don't know if you. What do you think? They just like the names mentioned. Let people know so they read the names of all the names mentioned. They can just say, hey, they did this, they did that. You know, let's check it out. Let's get involved. Like, you know, let's grow the team, right? Like a team effort. You know. So your partner is he a biker too?
Yes, she bikes.
Okay, sorry,
Mhm.
that's good. And what's your next trip to be after Morocco?
Yeah, well, we're not thinking about that right now.
That's good. It's good. How long you been an accountant now?
Uh, about 15 years now, including with my previous employer.
Oh wow, you look so young. Jeez. It's great. So my question is, after the say we get our project done, Young is all done. What's the next? What's the next thing you want to do? What do you want to see next done?
Yeah, so I know we'll still have to keep pushing on Young, especially to get the stuff extended to Eglinton, and
Yeah.
eventually we want to see a continuous bikeway from the waterfront to Steeles along Young.
Oh, that'd be so
And
nice.
then, yeah. Another thing I really want to see is open streets to be expanded.
Yes.
That
Yes.
thing infuriates
Yes.
me about how open streets was never allowed to be held more than 2 Sundays per year.
I know.
Whereas Ottawa, they had their Sunday bike days, I think, every Sunday from May to October for
Yeah.
decades, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
should do that.
Bogota, they had theirs every Sunday.
Yeah.
So did Guadalajara in Mexico.
Yeah, and France has it, Rome has, Italy has, Italy's permanent actually. But I'm just saying, yeah, I like to see that, more weekend walk. Well, we've had a few. Thing is, it's like they're nervous. They want to experiment. Let's just do this for a couple of times, see how it goes, But you can't just base it on 2 occasions, right? You can't just say, okay, we did it 3 times. Okay, let's see what happens, right? But it should be permanent. There's lots of streets downtown that could be, I don't agree, permanently just streets, like get rid of the traffic.
Car free, yeah, absolutely, yeah, especially around Kensington Market. And it frustrated me how when they did consultations for Kensington Safe Streets, they approached a very small section to be car free.
Yeah, exactly.
And people that call car free streets for like 20, 30 years, if not more.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. But I think that whole area should be car free. That whole down by by Union there, that whole area there.
Oh, Front Street you're talking about?
Yeah, I was thinking Fleet Street on the Army or something. Yeah, okay. Front Street. I'm thinking the other street. Yeah, Front Street. Just make it permanent. I think they should, because I'm down there. Like I see cars going north and south, but I don't see not a lot going east or west. There's just so much traffic. There's so much opportunity there for like patios. They have a few, right? Just make it permanent. And just we got a lot of roads. People complain, oh, you're gonna close off the roads and you're gonna make all this traffic woes. But you know what? Like you said, Robert, it's not the traffic, it's construction, right?
Right.
They should make a rule. Like if you're like, look at Yonge Street. I don't know if it's when I was doing my going down on May between Yonge and Collard, the whole section was closed off. And I asked people, they've been like that for 5 months. It's just sitting there. They're not doing nothing. That shouldn't be possible, I was gonna ask you, what do you think about legalizing electric scooters on the road, like in Europe and all?
Oh, electric kick scooters? Yeah, so when my employer moved to Vaughan and we started to go back hybrid earlier this year, I ended up buying one of those electric kick scooters.
Oh, you did?
And yeah, I did. And I must say it was a real time saver. Like instead of taking 20 or 30 minutes to walk from Bob Metro Center to the office, I could just scoot there in 5 minutes.
That's cool.
Even though I support making personally owned e-scooters legal in Toronto, I'm not so keen about these scooter share services like Lime & Bird. I know there's been a heck of a lot of lobbying at the City Hall from those companies. And I find that if they're not strongly regulated, like I find scooter share users, they'll simply leave scooters all over the sidewalks, causing tripping hazards, especially for those with disabilities.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it would be great, like if they could geofence those too, so they're not scooting on the sidewalks. But yeah, scooter share is really a controversial matter, and I think that's what's prompted a lot of people to be opposed about bringing or legalizing e-scooters in Toronto.
Yeah, because when I was living in Milan, I used to take a taxi scooter to work. Yeah, I'd sit in the back.
Scooter.
Yeah, they have they're all over. Yeah, it's a scooter, but it's a taxi. You just sit in the back of the guy driving it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's all over. Yeah, it's great. It's like I got to work in like 10 minutes instead of driving. But I don't think we have. Do we have taxi scooters here? I don't think we have that in Toronto, do we? Not yet.
No, we do not.
Yeah, we've had those buggies. You seen those experimental buggies they have? They're like wheel pedal, whatever. They look something like that out of Japan or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and I think there's cycling without age that where people bike those who are elderly and may not be able to move as much.
Yeah. But I think it's great. Yeah, I think I had an idea about when the campaign make just until they build the Ontario line, make Yonge Street between say Bloor down to Union, make it during rush hour, make it only for bikes and buses, no taxis, no deliveries, just between certain hours because of the congestion with the traffic, with the somebody's all break it down in the wintertime, especially Young Line, and put the scooters, make it illegal, put the scooters and the bikes in the middle lane rather than the sides. I don't know. What do you think?
I probably put the bikes and the scooters on the curb lanes. If you were to do buses, may have those in the middle.
Yeah, because I'm
But
thinking like
yes,
yeah, I'm thinking if you got the scooters on the side, I'm just thinking, and then get people, and have two kinds of buses. You have buses stop at every stop, and then you have shuttle buses between Young,
mm,
Bloor and Young, just to get people down to the main core. But it's just not idea.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
but
because
yeah.
it's scooters on the side. I'm just thinking like people wise getting on the bus. You got scooters on the side there trying to get on or whatever or interfering.
Well, gonna need more study on that
Yeah, yeah,
idea.
it's just yeah, it's just the. But we need more. We need ideas. Like you got ideas you talked about. I've seen you tweeting, whatever. You got about 5 minutes left, but you got more, more ideas. And are you right now? Are you in charge of the organization, or are you part of the group?
Yeah, so Young for All, I'm not in charge. I'm just one of several volunteers.
Okay, yeah. So when they
Mhm.
send me your name, say contact Robert. I go, Robert, what's Robert got to do with this? First I heard you mentioned. That's good. But you ever thought of forming your own kind of group, your own kind of a coalition group yourself?
Uh, yeah, we'll see where things go. Not gonna make anything at this
No, no, I'm putting
time.
you, I'm putting you on the spot here, no, but just see, you're such an enthusiast, just you can see your passion, the biking and all. So anything else? I got 4 minutes. Anything you want to add? Like, oh, can you give the websites and then I can post it? And is there numbers too to get a hold of the groups?
Yes, so there's a petition Young for All has, which has about 4,700
Oh yeah,
signatures right now. The website is bit.ly/young, the number 4, all.
I'll put that on my tweet and post it there on and Facebook as well. Get more
Okay.
signatures going. I'll put it also on all the stuff there. Yeah. So anything else you want to add? We covered it, yeah. Then talk to what do you like doing besides biking? What's your personal stuff? What do you like doing besides traveling, macro, and biking? What do you do? I mean, I know you're a captain. What do you like doing for hobbies yourself?
Yeah, I said it's mainly bikes and staying into with the political stuff that's going on.
What do you think of the whole political game now?
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, so what do you think of the whole political game? Like what the results right now with the election? All are you satisfied with that?
Well, for the council races, like I was pleased to see we have a couple of more progressive voices, but such as Ever Morley and Jamal Byers. But
They're nice. I met them. They're so nice.
yeah, and unfortunately, I was so furious about this Bill 39, the straw mayor legislation. Like Mayor Tory didn't bring it up during the campaign, and then boom, it was confirmed that he asked Doug Ford for these powers.
Yeah, it's kind of like they
And
stuck it in there. I mean, it was being planned for months. I know that for a fact.
yeah,
That did just happen overnight. But
yeah,
I find it insulting, like especially the re-elected incumbents and the new ones like Amber. They fought so hard for the campaign. They got in the office. They got in there, and now they're telling your voters like we voted for him to say, sorry, our vote for you don't count because you don't get it's not a majority rule anymore, right?
yeah. And here's the irony of it all. As of now, at least 18 of the 25 councillors have voiced their opposition to Bill 39, which is more than the 2/3 threshold
Yeah,
needed to overrule the mayor.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So what's I saw the list yesterday. I got a few councillors that are still supporting him, right? The incumbents and all, but the majority had to keep adding on there. Like, yeah, you're going. So I'm looking at the list, go, what's going on there? Why is? I mean, okay, I'm not insulting the mayor, but I said because human being, I'm saying, I'm respecting the people that I work for, that are my incumbents, my new elected officials here. I say, respect is the biggest thing. You respect your opinion. I respect your vote because that's why you matter. That's why you got voted in. Basically, you're saying your vote don't count. I don't care about your opinion. If I want it my way, I'm getting it my way. Forget your opinion. Just be blunt about it. That's just. I think it's insulting. It's
Mhm.
insulting to whoever you voted for. I voted for my guys and the wards and all. I Amber Morty, Jamal, they made it the first thing. They all stood up the first time for the local, and then they got shut down by Nunziato. I said, you know what I said? There you go. That's the division right there. It starts right now, the division right there. These people, and it saddens my heart because I know I've seen their passion for wanting to win. Got a few minutes, but they want to get in there. They got in there, and they're going to be disheartened. It's going to happen. It's just happening. It's happening now. They're disheartened because they want so much done for the city, for love of the city. Not about paychecks and making it look good and props and all. It's that they love this. These candidates got in. They want to get done for the city, and they're not going to get everything they want done. And it frustrates me to see that because I met them and I can feel the pain. I don't know if you see it, but that's how I feel. I got 1 minute left just to wrap before we get going. That's another topic. That's how I feel about the whole thing, about the local 39. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that. I think it's,
Yeah, well, Doug Ford has had a constant hatred for Toronto, especially when Rob Ford kept on being overruled at council over his antics and the cracks.
I'm gonna get it cut off in about 1 minute. Just want to say thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna tweet you stuff. Give me all the information. I'll tweet it and put it on there. If I get cut off, I'll send you a tweet and I'll post this and I'll send you the email for the video and I'll put it on my thing. And I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming. First time meeting you in person. You're a nice guy. I like it. I really, you're a good guy.
Thanks for having me, Philip.
No, it's great. Actually, it's honor mine. Talking to guys like you, I love it. So I'll talk to you after. We'll do another one if you want and talk more. I like your passion about biking and all.
Thanks. So be in touch.
Okay, take care.
Okay.
Let's cut that off. Bye now.